weather, here's Ed Rodriguez in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
And on the inner loop of the Beltway, you still are seeing the delays kick in at the toll road, heading now up to the 270 spur.
Hello there.
And then
Welcome
from
to the
Old
Golf
Georgetown
Club.
Road to Kenilworth Avenue, believe it or not, that's an improvement.
Chirping,
in Alexandria, the Auto Loop Stop and Go from Van Dorn Street to the Wilson Bridge, then in Landover from Marina Drive to Kenilworth Avenue, 95 to University Boulevard, and from the toll road to Gallows Road. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Weather Channel forecast.
Cloudy tonight, low 58. Showers tomorrow, high 67. It's 69 and only 68 at Reagan National. I'm Maria Leaf on Washington's Mall, WMAL.
Now, the Larry O'Connor
Show.
That was breathtaking.
5:37 on WMAL, where Washington comes to talk. Larry O'Connor taking you right up to the Great One, Mark
Looking
Levin, just 30 minutes from now.
10 or so yard shot
You just
here.
heard in Maria Leaf's great, and it's always great, news report that Donald Trump is a little frustrated right now with Republicans because Democrats are sticking together. Democrats don't have a Mitt Romney in their ranks, throwing their leadership under the bus, throwing their president under the bus. And that's exactly what we saw from Mitt Romney over the weekend, where he told McKay Coppins of The Atlantic that, he could certainly consider voting to remove Trump from office if it comes to an impeachment trial in the Senate. Thanks, Mitt. You stand on those principles of yours. You're helping us all out. And which principle is it, by the way, that you're standing on? Before you vote to remove the president, could you tell me what, in your mind, the high crime and or misdemeanor is right now? And how'd you get there exactly? I don't know how you know, because all of the testimony and all the hearings are being done in private, and Republicans aren't allowed to call any witnesses in the hearings. But you're more than willing to jump up there and say, "Oh, sure, yeah, I'd listen to removing him from office." Mitt Romney is very upset because part of the way Donald Trump won the election is to point out the kind of feckless and weak-kneed leadership you displayed when you ran for office. He rightly said that the 2012 election is one that should have been won. And you weren't in it to win it, frankly. And it was devastating for a lot of us who put ourselves on the line for you, Mitt Romney, and this is how you repay us. Because the fact of the matter is, more people support President Trump. Let me rephrase that. More Republicans support Donald Trump right now.
This one's for Birdie.
Supported any modern American Republican president since Ronald Reagan. And certainly more than they supported Mitt Romney in the 2012 election, and now we know why. But Donald Trump was able to do some things that Mitt Romney wasn't capable of doing, including winning his own home state of Michigan. And so now Mitt Romney does this, and this article in The Atlantic was written by McKay Coppins. And I've met McKay Coppins a few times. We were both on the campaign trail in 2016. We attended a Jeb Bush rally. At the time, I was writing for IJ Review, and I was taking video for IJ. I never published
way to start
video,
things out with a nice
but
little
I went up to a lot of the reporters, and I took the video, and I put it in. I was going to make a little fun video about reporters and how they cover the Republican president.
Okay, it's time to send this ball on its way.
A simple question. What does Jeb stand for? You're covering Jeb Bush. You should know what Jeb stands for, right? And, of course, I'm sure you know. It's James Earl Bush, or Edward. Is it James Edward Bush? But anyway, Jeb Bush stood for something. His name was not Jeb, right? Jeb Bush was a acronym. It was what his family called him. He was John Ellis Bush. John Ellis Bush. That's what Jeb stood for. And I remember going up to McKay Coppins, and I recorded him while he was waiting for Jeb to come out for the rally. It was a really scintillating rally, too. And I said, McKay, what does Jeb stand for? And he looked at me and sort of shrugged and said, I don't know, Jeb. So there you go. He was read up on the candidate he was covering at the time. John Ellis Bush, Jeb. McKay Coppins is it's very well known about McKay
You're
Coppins.
kind of in some deep stuff. This is the danger zone.
Latter-day Saints, also known as the Mormon Church. Mitt Romney, also a Mormon. He was actually hired by BuzzFeed during the 2012 campaign to comment on Mormon-related issues as it relates to Mitt Romney. Because they knew that they didn't have a Mormon in there, and Mormon stuff would be big in the campaign. So they hired McKay Coppins to comment on that stuff. And then, of course, McKay Coppins really was thrust into the spotlight. In the 2016 campaign, he wrote a profile on Donald Trump, the candidate, in January of 2016. So it was before the Iowa caucuses. It was before any vote had been cast. And the Trump campaign embedded, they let McKay Coppins hang on the plane, hang down in Florida with candidate Trump, go to campaign stops and witness everything, and then he wrote about it. And his write-up at BuzzFeed, not very flattering. In fact, I think a Trump staffer got fired for letting McKay Coppins in. He said, this is going to be a great idea. Trust me, McKay Coppins is a great writer, and he's going to write all this stuff about the Trump campaign. And the McKay Coppins write-up basically said this, described the Trump campaign as a fake political campaign, said it wasn't real. This whole thing is a show. None of it is real, and Donald Trump is not really a candidate, and doesn't really care about anything, and he hasn't put together any sort of plan to actually win the nomination. This whole thing is just made for television. I'm paraphrasing the article, but it's out there. Read it. Tell me I'm wrong. That's exactly basically what he said. And Trump responded really, they were pretty rough on McKay Coppins. They were angry that McKay Coppins had written this article about them.
Okay, so you're in the rough here. And
now that we have the benefit of history in our rearview mirror, we can look back and say, well, gosh, McKay kind of got it wrong, didn't he? And I don't think anyone's really revisited this about McKay Coppins, but when you look back, for a writer in January of 2016 to say that Trump wasn't really in it, wasn't really trying to win, and didn't really have a legitimate campaign, they were just wrong. Because a month later, he won New Hampshire. A month and a half later, he won Super Tuesday, and 4 months later, he secured the nomination, and by the end of the year, he was the president-elect. Well, can we at least say McKay Coppins got that one wrong? Apparently not. He's now writing for The Atlantic. So McKay Coppins, Mormon reporter, who was hired because he was Mormon by BuzzFeed, has a bone to pick with Trump because Trump was really nasty to him when he wrote that nasty article about Trump. Mitt Romney has a bone to pick with Donald Trump, too, also a Mormon. So Mitt Romney, the Mormon, gives McKay Coppins, the Mormon, an exclusive interview, and in it he says, yeah, I'm going to vote to impeach Trump. Or I could see myself voting to remove Trump on impeachment. This is what people don't like about how the media covers politics in this town. And nowhere in that article are any of those conflicts revealed. Are any of those relationships revealed? Is any of that history revealed? Oh, just here's a writer interviewing a senator.
Okay, let's see what you can do with his 8-footer.
Quite something, isn't it? But now comes the fun part. We learned that Mitt Romney has a pretend Twitter account. And no, it's not Brigham Young. It's not John Smith. It's not Matt Stone.
Well, solid bogey.
It's Pierre Delecto. And this way he can comment and like and really say great things about Mitt Romney without it being Mitt Romney saying it. And that's what he did.
Coming off a bit of a bogey on that last hole.
Let's see if we can do better here. Where he can really attack Twitter and be out there and not worry about any of the repercussions. Right now he censors himself. Right now he's always concerned about hitting send on that tweet because he doesn't want to get into trouble. You can tell. I want him to be unleashed. I really want him to put it out there. So what do you think his pretend Twitter account name should be? And please, think of something better than Pierre Delecto. Larry O'Connor, WMAL.
Washington's Mall, WMAL, where Washington comes to talk.
Internet Essentials from Comcast helps millions of families, like the West family, get the internet they need to be ready for anything.
Like doing my homework.
And applying for jobs.
Applying to colleges, too.
Paying bills.
Playing games.
But not until your homework's done.
Through Internet Essentials, Comcast has connected more than 8 million people from low-income households to low-cost, high-speed internet at home. Most for the first time, so they're ready for anything. Learn more at ComcastCorporation.com/Internet Essentials.
If you missed it, here's this week's federal benefits lesson from Winter Troxel.
To me, that's how I think of the decision to retire. That element of being emotionally ready, getting an idea subjectively of how you want your retirement to look and feel, and then lining up your federal benefits and assets and creating a plan to accomplish it.
About federal benefits with Winter Troxel, Saturdays at noon on WMAL or online at wintertroxel.com.
5:45, WMAL traffic and weather every 10 minutes first on the 5s. Here's Ed Rodriguez. He's in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
You can get away with corpus delicti?
I'll write it down.
In Bethesda, northbound 270, jam
Could
still
be in the
from
rough
Old Georgetown Road, but now only to Falls Road. Then in Gaithersburg, it's stop and go from Shady Grove Road right through the Clarksburg lane drop. And in Frederick, from Route 85 up to the I-70 junction, westbound 70, just a little delay from 270 to Jefferson Pike. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Weather Channel forecast.
Rain returns as we get into Tuesday. Pretty standard October weather. Temperatures relatively mild. Average time this time of year is 67. Tonight's low with a mostly cloudy sky down to the upper 50s. On and off rain expected during the daytime on Tuesday with highs back in the mid to upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Mark Thibodeau from the Weather Channel on WMAL.
Right now it's 67 degrees at 5:47.
At Leidos, they are committed to making the world safer, healthier, and more efficient. It's important work. Fighting cancer matters. Protecting our troops matters. Developing mission-critical software when their customers need it most matters. At Leidos, the important work never stops.
LEIDOS.
I'm Brian from 1-800-GOT-JUNK. We make junk disappear. Anytime, anywhere. We're happy to crawl through your attic and dig through your basement. Point at a sleeper sofa. Gone. Point at a beat-up old garden shed. Gone. Point at a big old freezer. Gone. Point at the neighbor's dog that won't quit barking.
And we'll politely ask him to improve his attitude.
We work until midnight, 7 days a week. Just call us 90 minutes before you need us to be there. 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Thinking of selling your home? Debbie and Sarah Reynolds with Keller Williams will guarantee 100% of your asking price, or they'll pay you the difference. Call 844-344-SOLD or go to DebbieHasTheBuyers.com. That's DebbieHasTheBuyers.com. This is Larry O'Connor. If you have dental fear like me, do what I did. Contact the great dentist at Bethesda Sedation Dentistry online at BethesdaSedationDentistry.com.
Novak, power you can trust.
All right, one over after adjustments.
Kowalski! Yeah, Coach. Listen,
Okay,
I know you got a little
here we
roughed up
go.
out there, but this is no time for quitters. You can't sit on the bench, and you can't just watch from the sidelines. You gotta lead a winning drive all the way to a better love life.
I'm sorry, what now?
Your love life, son. You're feeling incomplete? Don't admit defeat. Go on offense.
But I'm doing online dating.
Well, stop. You want to hear some alarming stats? Half of online daters lie on their profiles. Only 53% of women write back to men who message them first, and 31% of online daters fake schedule conflicts just to get out of dates. Online is just a bunch of posting, boasting, and ghosting. Dang it, Kowalski, you're better than that.
So what do I do?
I'll tell you what. Change the playbook to It's Just Lunch. IJL is in it to win it. Know how many of their members go on real dates? 100%. Now get back in the game.
You got it, Coach.
Change your dating game. Visit It'sJustLunchDC.com or call 202-466-6699 today. It's Just Lunch. Connection awaits with guaranteed dates.
For the
Traffic and
bird.
weather, the day's top stories, and you. This is the Larry O'Connor Show.
What should Trump's Twitter handle be? If he had his own private, secret, lurking Twitter handle like that very strange man, Mitt Romney. What 72-year-old man comes up with a fake Twitter handle so he can lurk and comment on things without being himself? Isn't that weird? Isn't it? I mean, and I like Mitt Romney. I did. I voted for him. I supported him. I don't know who this guy is at this point, other than someone who wants to be remembered fondly when he's no longer with us.
All
the way
right,
John
your
McCain
adjusted
was so
score
well remembered.
is 1 over par.
He thinks that the
after
media's
that
going to love him now.
All right,
It's sad.
let's let her rip.
But if Trump were out there with a fake Twitter account, what would his name be? It's certainly something better than Pierre Delecto. By the way, of course, he picked a French name. What's that? Although Delecto isn't French, right? That's more Latin, I guess. I don't know what's going on there. How about Jim in Gainesville? Jim, what would Trump's secret Twitter handle be if he had one?
Hi, Larry. Mine would be very easy to figure out who it is, and I'm not a social media guy, and I don't know if there's a Twitter limit on Twitter titles, but it would be not a bull in a china shop, but a herd of longhorn steers in a china shop being chased by a wasp's nest.
Just plowing through the whole dang thing. Yeah, Jim, that would be too long, but it could certainly be the image on his Twitter page, I suppose. But I don't think that would fit.
Nice. Should be in the fairway.
Thank you, Jim. How about Jason in Dumfries? You're next up. What's Trump's Twitter handle?
Yeah, Larry, I think it would have to be something like QG.
Okay, we're looking at around 170 yards here.
It's got to be huge.
Huge. I bet somebody already has huge, but I do like it. Thank you, Jason. How about Karen in Chantilly? What do you think Trump's double secret Twitter handle is?
Nobody would know it's him, the blonde bombshell.
Well, I'll tell you, that would get a lot of followers, the blonde bombshell.
I think it might. He blows everything up.
Oh, that kind of bombshell. All right, Karen, thank you. Is he blonde, by the way? Would you call that blonde? I guess it's kind of blonde. All right, how about Francisco out on Route 29? What do you think Trump's secret Twitter handle is?
Hey, Larry. Hey. I wouldn't let my Hispanic background influence this one. I would say El Muy Macho.
How about El Bad Hombre?
Yeah, there you go. That too.
All right. El Muy Macho Bad Hombre. Thank
you,
Francisco.
Great contact.
How about OJ in Hillsboro? OJ, what do you think his Twitter handle is, Trump's secret Twitter handle?
Hi, Larry. Love your show.
Thank you.
Okay, you're on the green with a fair amount of real estate to cover now.
And it should tweak Romney a bit. So, I've been electi.
I've been electi. Yeah, there would be two people really angry about that one. It would be Hillary Clinton and Mitt Romney. They would, and that, you know what? It would be great is if those were the only two people that he followed.
Exactly.
Mitt Romney and Hillary Clinton. I've been electi, and he only followed Hillary and Mitt. Thank you, OJ. I love that. How about Jackie in Alexandria? Jackie, you want to chime in on this?
Yeah. Are you there?
I am. Go ahead, Jackie.
Okay. I'm calling because not for that reason, but for Trump. Listen, I worked for him when when he was running, for president, door to door, that kind of thing. But he went to Trump and asked him for money when he was running for president, and Trump gave him money.
Yep.
When he was running
for president. And an endorsement.
And and now, he turns around and does these kinds of things to Trump.
Okay, it's time to send this ball on its way.
I'm a Mormon, too. He ought to be kicked out of the church. He's just lying. Well, look at the stuff that he's doing. He's terrible. He's a terrible person. He's nothing like he was when he was running himself and when we went door to door for him.
So, Jackie, the question is, what's the real Mitt Romney? The one that we supported and the one that we saw as a good man and the better choice for president in 2012, or this Romney that we're seeing right now?
No, this Romney, he's rotten. This is rotten to the core.
All right.
He's just angry that Trump won. That Trump, he didn't challenge Romney because they were running different times. So he runs and he wins. And so Romney's jealous because he didn't win, because he didn't stand up. When those, when they did the debates, those last two debates, he let, what's his name, Obama run all over him.
Yeah, he sure did.
Stand up.
Yeah,
Pretty
he did.
deep
Right,
stuff
and that was the most frustrating thing. I wanted somebody who was going to fight.
In the right
By
direction.
the way, that's why we voted for Trump when we had the chance. Part of, everybody says Obama is why we got Trump. Partly. But Mitt Romney is also why we got Trump. Because we could have won that election, we should have won that election, and the person that we nominated, who we all were supporting, wouldn't even fight for his own election. Wouldn't do what it had to be done to win. And that's why, finally, when we had the opportunity, we nominated the guy that did. All right, stay online. I do want to hear from you about Trump's Twitter handle, and there's a lot of good suggestions here for
looks like
Donald
this
Trump's
may be in the deep
secret
stuff.
private Twitter handle.
Washington's Mall, WMAL, where Washington comes to talk.
Northern Virginia
I stand corrected. At the end of the day, you're sitting on the green. Nice.
Pay-to-play politician John Bell is making things worse. Bell wrote the legislation guaranteeing toll increases on the Greenway for 10 years. 10 years of toll increases that your family will have to pay. And what did politician John Bell get in return? You guessed it. Bell got campaign cash from the Greenway toll owners. Pay-to-play politician John Bell. He's wrong for Northern Virginia families. There's a better choice. Gary Higgins will take on the Richmond politicians and get rid of the tolls. Here's Gary Higgins.
Like you, I've had it with these crazy tolls. The toll road owners and the Richmond politicians are taking us all for a ride. As your state senator, I won't stop fighting until these tolls come down. I'm Gary Higgins, candidate for state senate, and I've sponsored this ad.
Paid for and authorized by Higgins for Senate.
All right, 13-footer here.
5:55 WMAL traffic and weather every 10 minutes. First on the 5s. Here's Ed Rodriguez in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
If you wonder why you're not moving downtown, here's a story. Northbound 395's jammed from Route 110 across the bridge to the 3rd Street Tunnel, then eastbound on the Southeast Freeway to the 11th Street Bridge. Westbound delays on the Southwest Freeway reach from the Navy Yard to the Case Bridge. Southbound 395 still stop and go from the Pentagon to Duke Street, and in Springfield, 95 is only slow from 644 to the Occoquan.
Right,
now from Garage Door
score is 2 over par.
The WMAL Weather Channel forecast.
Rain returns as we get into Tuesday. Here. Pretty standard October weather. Temperatures relatively mild. Average time this time of year is 67. Tonight's low with a mostly cloudy sky down to the upper 50s. On and off rain expected during the daytime on Tuesday with highs back in the mid to upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Mark Thibodeau from the Weather Channel on WMAL.
Right now it's 67 degrees. Traffic and weather brought to you by Service Experts.
The Advantage program from A-Plus Service Experts gets you a new furnace from just $92 a month. There's no money down, never a charge for repairs, and tune-ups are free. Call A-Plus Service Experts at 866-EXPERTS or visit aplus-hvac.com. See website for license details.
My insulin used to cost $26 a vial. Today, drug companies charge up to $350 a vial.
Gail DeVore,
all right,
type
we're about
1 diabetes patient.
Yards from
this
the
is the same insulin formula I've been using for almost 30 years. There is no reason for it to be this expensive. What makes it even worse is that we pay 10 times more than people in other countries for insulin. Many of us are struggling just because we can't afford insulin. Now, there are bipartisan proposals in Washington that would actually lower drug prices. This bill would save lives. It would be an historic moment.
Go to fightpharma.org/now. Let's make history. Join the fight to lower drug prices at fightpharma.org/now.
Mr. President and Congress, we are counting on you.
Paid for by Patients for Affordable Drugs.
Now that was a swing.
Live and local. You're listening to The Larry O'Connor Show.
Hey, who would you be more worried about if they reached out to you on Twitter to be your friend? Carlos Danger or Pierre Delecto? And what should Trump's secret Twitter handle be? I'm getting a couple of good ones here on social media, too. Your Stable Genius is a good one from John. High Octane Kofivi is also a good one. How about Ron and Stafford? What should Trump's pretend Twitter handle be?
Larry, they're driving down south and either the real Mitt Romney or not your POTUS.
Real Mitt Romney is great. Thank you for that. How about Michael in Maryland? What do you think it should be, Michael?
How they got to just switch it around and call it Hillary Hinton.
Hillary Clinton?
Hillary Hinton.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Just change the 2 words.
How about Billy in La Plata? Billy, you got a secret Twitter handle for the POTUS?
Absolutely. They probably will be not too easy to figure out who it is, but I go for the Swamp Destroyer.
The Swamp Destroyer. Well, only if they let him. And boy, they don't want him to, do they? They'll do anything they can to stop him. Thanks for listening. Up next, the great one, Mark Levin.
Perfect. Washington's Mall, WMAL, where Washington comes to talk.
I'm Ronnie Mervis for Mervis Diamond Importers.
Adjusted score
About 2 billion years
1
ago,
over par.
huge volcanoes tore the earth apart in South Africa. Bubbles of carbon gas were trapped. Under intense heat and enormous pressure, they were compressed over long periods of time into diamonds. Early last century, a mine shaft was sunk down the throat of an ancient volcano. Then the discovery of a diamond larger than a man's fist made the mine famous. I traveled to the premier mine. Tunneling 1 mile underground, I worry about dynamite blasts and falling rock. As giant conveyors move tons of rock to the surface, the activity is hectic. But the news is great. Diamonds from the premier mine are excellent. I'm thrilled. Once again, Mervis Diamonds will import some of the finest diamonds in the world to Washington and offer them to you at prices that only a South African diamond importer can achieve. Mervis Diamond Importers. Mervis means more diamonds, much better quality, and the most value.
Solid
Financing
swing.
is available. Go to mervisdiamonds.com to learn more. For an appointment, call 1-800-HER-LOVE. Nobody pays retail anymore. Why should you?
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington. Cheering on the Washington Nationals in the 2019 World Series. 105.9 FM, WMAL, a Cumulus station. News now.
WMAL News at 6. I'm Maria Leaf. New charges filed today against the brothers involved in the deadly assault at the Great Frederick Fair.
We have decided at this point in time to file additional charges.
Frederick County State's Attorney Charlie Smith.
With regard to the 15-year-old, that young man now stands charged with manslaughter, first-degree assault, and 2 counts of second-degree assault.
The 15-year-old and his 16-year-old brother approached 59-year-old John Weed of Mount Airy at the fair asking for $1. Weed refused. The sheriff says the boys punched Weed, who later died. The state's attorney also filing waivers to charge both teen boys as adults. Barbara Britt, WMAL and WMAL.com.
A powerful tornado churning through Dallas, leaving more than 100,000 without power. This is Mayor Eric Johnson.
We have a strong city, a resilient city, and we're going to get through this. And I know that our folks are going to step up to the plate and make sure that we take care of one another.
Correspondent Ed Lamvendera examining the damage.
Staggering scene across the city from the heavily, densely populated area of northwest Dallas all the way into northeast Dallas. This tornado spent about more than 12 miles on the ground, carving just really staggering damage considering how physically small this tornado was.
So far, there are no reports of anyone being killed in the storm. The excitement continuing to build as the Nats play Game 1 of the World Series against the Astros tomorrow. And if you're looking to get your hands on some playoff merchandise, stores are busy trying to keep up with the demand.
Is 2 over par after that one.
Came out, we received multiple shipments throughout the day. We get some in the morning, then around lunchtime, then later in the afternoon, product would come in. So we're talking 4 or 5 a day.
There are many tables and racks with Nats World Series gear here at the Modell's on Wisconsin Avenue in downtown Bethesda. And General Manager Chad Thompson says new stuff's on the way today.
We are expecting at least a T-shirt that has both the dueling logos, as we call them, the Nationals and the Astros logo.
He says most people would rather just have Nats gear.
But we do have that customer who will get the both side.
At the Modell's in downtown Bethesda, Heather Curtis on WMAL and WMAL.com.
Marathon talks and the Chicago teacher strike stalling again, and that meant 300,000 students missed a third day of classes today. Chicago Teachers Union President Jesse Sharkey says city officials now know a strike certainly wasn't off the table.
I don't think they really started bargaining seriously and taking us seriously until there were 25,000 teachers and another 7,000 members of SEIU on the streets. And that's a shame.
4 California parents changing their pleas in the college admission scam.
The most notable among those still fighting the charges are former Full House actress Lori Loughlin and her husband Massimo Giannulli. The change in pleas for the other 4 parents come as former Desperate Housewife star Felicity Huffman, known right now as inmate 77806-112,
well, you're in the sand, so
begins her second and final week in what some call a very
and
posh, low-security federal prison in Northern California. So posh, in fact, inmates are allowed to walk the grounds outside prison walls. Loughlin is back in court in January. Jim Roop, Los Angeles.
Checking your money tonight. The Dow finished the day up 57 points. The S&P 500 up 21. The NASDAQ up 73. WMAL traffic and weather next.
Set up your Amazon Echo to hear Rush weekdays noon to 3.
Here, folks, listen to this.
For one-time setup, say, Alexa, enable WMAL skill. Then to listen, just say, Alexa, open WMAL.